who is telling churches to buy all this gear? That's how I want to start this.
What gear?
All the worship and tech gear. Like, dude, we got new PAs, we got consoles, we got lights, and look, this can seem like I'm talking out two sides of my mouth. Like, we train people on how to use these things. So gear is not the problem, but there is this like sickness that I'm seeing, that there's just this constant desire to upgrade our gear, upgrade our tech, new things. Oh, that church got an LED wall. Well, we need an LED wall because some would say that our projector could die any day now. Like, there's just this obsession with gear. Who is telling churches? Where is this coming from? Like, is this just like human nature? We're greedy. We want more. Like, I don't know.
When you say churches, are you talking about the 0.1% of churches that actually have good gear?
It doesn't matter what size church I talk to.
Because when I think gear, I'm like 2 speakers on sticks, a couple microphones, a 12-channel analog board, and I can get a couple mics on a drum kit and 1 vocal, maybe a background vocal, 1 guitar, a bass player, audio output for computer for videos, and maybe a host mic, which is what probably most churches in America have.
Yeah, sure.
So are you talking about that kind of gear, or are you talking about...
I'm talking about it all. I'm talking about because this is the theme that I'm finding in every church I talk to, no matter the size. No matter the size. And I talk to churches every day. Usually my typical day, I'm going to talk to at least 3 or 4 churches. Some of them are customers of MxU, some of them are not. And every single church I talk to, gear is a conversation. It's a topic of conversation. And sure, it should be because we're in worship and tech ministry, so we're supposed to steward gear. But more specifically, the thing that comes up is we really need that one thing. Or we really need that, or we just got that one thing. How many churches that I talk to, my goodness, Dylan, the churches that are like, we just purchased MxU because we just bought all this gear and we don't know how to use it. I'm like, so why'd you buy the gear? Oh, well, we had a capital campaign, and so there was money, and so we bought the gear. Okay, so why'd you do the capital campaign? Oh, because pastor had a vision for this one thing, and we wanted to do this, and so we threw in a couple $100,000 in the capital campaign towards tech upgrades in the church because we want to make sure we're on the cutting edge of technology. These are some of these are 500-person churches, which is still pretty big. But then we also have the smaller church that has a $12,000 a year tech budget, and they're like, I can't afford MxU. And I know, sorry, this is personal to me, but they're just like, I can't afford MxU. It's $1,000 a year, and I only have a $12,000 budget.
Well, I don't want to afford it.
And I'm like, okay, so like, you have a $12,000 budget. So what do you need to spend the money on? Well, this and this and this and this. But you just told me that your volunteers can't pull the tasks off, and you're having training issues. So like, you buy the gear, it doesn't matter. It's still going to suck. I could talk about this all day long, but who is telling these churches that they need all this? Is it social media? Is it like, what is going on?
You're asking me that?
Yeah, that's the question I have for you.
For me specifically?
I don't know. I mean, this is the question that I ponder often, is just like,
no, it's fair.
I have theories.
I don't know if you and I will agree on most of this, which is fine.
Let's go there.
I think it's fine, and I think it's good. Because you're wrong. I'm kidding. We probably will agree on a lot of it. But even me hearing you say stuff, I'm like, well, but
yeah. Well, because I'm also kind of approaching it a bit black and white. Apologies for those listening. I can be black and white at times.
No, I think it's fair. I think your approach is fair. I think for me, I don't know a lot of gear. I'm just not a gear guy. I know enough to maybe sit in a room and convince somebody that I know something about something. But I'm not going to go to a console, testing each console. What do we call those? Shotguns? What do we call those? We call those
shootouts?
Shootouts.
Yeah.
See, I don't even know what they're called.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go to a shootout and listen to a different PA and go.
I saw you at a PA shootout like 3 weeks ago.
But it wasn't a shootout, it was a demo. It was just to listen to this
That's true. Actually, it wasn't a shootout, it was a demo.
So my point by calling it a shootout is I wouldn't be able to tell the difference, Yeah, incredible PA. I love the way the tone sounded on it. My point is that we do need gear, though.
Yeah,
I really do think there's churches that need gear.
Yeah.
I think even smaller churches that maybe started in a home. Once you hit a certain size, what do you just say? Nope, go to a different church because we're good at 15 people so that we don't need gear.
Yeah.
No.
I get it.
So you elevate to a microphone and to a PA because God's bringing people to your organization. So I think gear is needed.
Can I push on that just for a second, though? So I've dedicated my career to helping churches in worship and tech ministry specifically. And in the past year, I've had maybe 2 of those conversations with churches who are like, we just moved into a school. We don't know what to do. One of them, we actually did a giveaway with church gear on. We selected them for a giveaway because they literally had nothing. And they're like, we have some money, but like So I understand what you're saying there, but it is the far minority from my subjective experience. This is like just the far minority is people who are like, we don't have a microphone and we need a microphone. I'm not talking to that person today. Again, not trying to like argue with you too much on that, but like
no, but it's a good point
Yeah.
to make. Who are we talking to? Because we might just be talking to. We can be talking to 2 different people groups. We can be talking to one people group that's less than 1% of churches in America that have gear that is gear, like actual gear. Like, $500,000 LED wall sitting in your auditorium is not a common thing.
Yeah.
By all means. But we also could be just talking to the group of people who, to the heart side of things. If you are the smaller church and you're like, I wish I had that, that's a heart thing.
Yeah.
So we could be talking to 2 different people groups, but the same as a general. One, if you're at the church of less than 1% American, you do have an incredible large budget and you can purchase things and you can have all of the cool gear. Why? And if you cannot afford that, but that's all you think about,
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
So I think we're talking to both groups, but we're talking to one similar thing, and it's the heart.
Yeah.
What's the why?
Yeah.
To answer your question, who's pushing it? I think society, social media. I think leadership. I think desire. I think wants. All the things that consumer. Would I rather have Chick-fil-A or would I rather have a steak at Ruth's Chris? I'd rather have a steak at Ruth's Chris.
Yeah.
Why? It's better, higher quality, more consistent. So I think the argument's there. To answer your question, who's pushing it? I think you have all those things I listed off. I think you have, sales guys from integration companies that are trying to do their jobs and do them well. I think you have influencers who represent different brands who want to represent the brand well. I think tons of people are pushing it.
Okay, so you just said something really key. I agree. When we're talking, we want to get specific about who's saying this. We're not here to really not here to like pull punches at anybody, but we are gonna. I do want to get specific because I don't want to sit here and just like complain about this issue and not be specific about what I see. We've had this conversation before where there is an industry in church. There is money to be made, right? MxU, we are not a nonprofit organization, right? We serve churches. We charge churches for our services. Do I think that is bad? Obviously not, because I do it and I'm shameless about it. And I don't think there's anything wrong with organizations that specifically want to serve the church and charge the church for their services. And it's just how the world works. But at what point are we exploiting this? This is what I struggle with in just the internal discernment. And I wake up and I go, okay, how much are we going to charge for MxU? Like, what would the church be willing to pay for it? But like, also, how much money does the church have? Also, how much money should the church be paying for on a service like this? Like, those are all the things that I wrestle with on a daily basis that I'm going like, I really don't have to answer to anybody other than God about that. Like, people can have their opinions, but ultimately that's what I'm concerned about, is just like, we serve the church well. Because this isn't just a business. But the problem that I see is that it has become a business. And guess in the church, one of the most profitable areas, besides scraping off of tithe dollars, which is a massive business in today's day and on the software side of things. But one of the number one ways that you can make money in serving the church vertical is by selling gear. And we have found this at MxU. It's been wild over the years. A couple of years back when we really started to gain influence as a brand, you know what everybody kept wanting to come and tell me? Everybody, all these, people in manufacturer world or integration world, you guys got to start selling gear. I mean, you have all this influence. You could make so much money. Just start selling gear. I mean, it's like the product's there. All these manufacturers are trying to figure out how to distribute it. And you guys have all this influence. Look at your Instagram followers, YouTube, whatever. Like, start selling gear. You'd make so much money tomorrow. It didn't sit right with me. It's like, well, why would we sacrifice the thing that we've been so passionate to build at MxU to now then go scrape money somewhere else for purely financial reasons?
Again, I think it goes back to the heart. I think I'm a similar boat as you. I own a for-profit business that helps Christian organizations and churches put on events outside of their four walls of their church, and it requires a lot of money. I think it's a heart thing. I think it's something they do, but I have several really good friends who own integration companies. I have no issue with their model of business. I have no issue with how they do their business, because I know their hearts internally are the same struggles that maybe you just said is, how much do I charge for the MxU platform?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a heart thing that you are always checking yourself to make sure you are actually serving the church and serving the church well. The churches that spend the most money on gear are the ones that the integrators have won the worship staff.
Yeah.
Let's just be honest.
Well, yeah, and that's...
But I think, to finish my thought, I think there's clout when you say, I use the cool integrator. Like there's no clout outside of your little small community because no one cares.
Yeah.
But I think there's definitely clout when you make an Instagram post and say, I use so-and-so to do our installs. And other churches see that and they're like, oh, I wish we could use that.
Yeah, it's dumb. I just think it's so dumb. I hate that because it's just like, they're just churches that can't afford some of those services. And they're like, oh, well, I got to make sure that I buy gear from these people if I want it done the right way. No, there's many integrators that do great work. And there's many integrators that don't do great work. But this has been like this age-old drama. There's so much drama around church integration. And I think a lot of it comes from that. And usually it's honestly stirred up amongst integrators. Like, they don't do as good of work as us. And we're better, and they're ripping off churches. And there's all this drama around like these stories we hear. And I mean, you see some crazy stuff. I've walked into 200-person churches with an SSL console at front of house. I'm like, who sold you that? But I just want to go back to integrators, yeah, they can make money off of margin and reselling gear. But another way they make money is by influencing your purchasing decisions. And now we have companies that are trying to go in between the integrator and the church. They're like, oh, don't trust the integrator because they don't know what gear you actually need. Why don't you come and pay us so that we can tell you what gear you should buy from the integrator? So you got manufacturer, and now you have integrator, and then you have consultant, and they all want a piece of the pie because the church just doesn't know what gear they need and they don't know how to install it. That's the system that I'm seeing that's put in place now. And there's not enough money to go around anymore.
I think the only person, though, that has a decision to control that entire chain are the ones that are signing the checks. I think it goes back to the heart.
You're talking about the senior pastor?
Or the CFO or the worship pastor. The person who ever makes a decision on hiring any of those people, it goes back to the heart. I personally don't think it's an issue to have any of those in play. I know that we don't agree on that. I don't think there's an issue to have people that, if their heart truly is to help the church,
mm-hmm.
which debatable, I would agree with that. If their heart actually is to help the church, I don't feel like those are bad things in place. If the heart of the person who is signing the check to pay the middleman, to pay the integrator, that ultimately pays the manufacturer for the gear, and then goes back down, and all the people in between make their cuts.
Mm-hmm.
If the heart of the person who says yes is because we just want to be the biggest and coolest church in town, or we want that LED wall because this church in Charlotte has it, or we want these type of cameras because this church in Tulsa has it, or we want this because this church in Dallas has it, that's a heart issue. I think that's what we need to focus on. It's, yes, we can blame the integrators and the manufacturers and the middleman and the consultants all day long. But the person that's saying yes is the person that is leading. Is the only thing that they can control is when I say yes to this, slide that check across the table and say, now get me what I want.
Yeah.
It's a heart issue. Why? The question is why? Why do you need the gear?
Yeah. I don't disagree with the heart issue. I don't disagree. And I'm not even willing to take a stance that, like, I'm not saying you shouldn't have an integrator. I'm not saying that you, in every circumstance, shouldn't have a consultant working with you in that process with an integrator. But I just have to be really honest. Like, got to call it what I see. And what I see is the conversation in this industry is just around making money off the church.
Yeah.
And so I'm not going to sit here and because it's a hard issue. Yeah, it is a hard issue. And what I'm seeing is that we've let money. I mean, how many integrators do you know that specifically serve the church that don't attend a local church?
Yeah.
That's insanity to me. Like I that makes no sense to me. You are so for the local church that you've dedicated your life's work, your career to selling the church something, but you don't want to be a part of a church. Sounds like you've actually just found a loophole. You've found an easy way to skim money.
Yeah, it's a business.
In a vertical.
You're able to make money. Yeah.
And a lot of times, you mentioned, we can make a lot of money in corporate. There's more money there. But also sometimes in the church, it's easy to make money because guess what? There's tons of churches. When pandemics happen, churches still need your help. Mm-hmm. Like, in 2020, dude, the amount of people, the amount of manufacturers who are reaching out, like, we got to get in the house of worship market because we can't make money on any tours are done. Everything's done. This is the only way we can make money. Okay. How do we get in this space now? So I know I can seem cynical about it, but it's like, yeah, because it's gross. I would also just like look at the story behind some of the integration firms out there these days. Like, how did they become an integrator? When did they decide to become an integrator? What were they doing before they were doing integration, if anything? Because you start to see some people, it's like, they wanted to do this, and then they decided, now we're just going to sell gear because it's the most profitable thing in front of us, and we didn't have a sustainable business model before. But they're not qualified to do integration. And there's a lot of local integrators that do great work. And there's a lot of local integrators who do horrible work. There's a lot of local integrators who will pick up the phone for you when things inevitably go awry after the install. There's a lot who won't. There even are some on the national level too. Like, there are integrators that can do larger jobs nationally. And so there's good and bad everywhere. But I think what I'm really trying to call out here is churches, who are you listening to when it comes to buying gear? Like, because sometimes I get it. Pastors are like, well, we hired this company, so we just got to listen to them. Also, just going to be real, a lot of pastors aren't great CEOs. They're not super good at making business decisions, financial decisions. Sometimes in the church, when we're spending millions of dollars, even hundreds of thousands of dollars, it is kind of be a business decision. And so we're just like, trust them. They seem like cool people. They serve the church. They take great Instagram videos. We should question a little bit more. Like, what are we buying from these people? And do we need it? Churches want to beat up integrators all day long. They want to see itemized quotes, see the margins. It's like, how about instead of beating them up over what they're selling you, maybe consider, do you need the things you're trying to buy in the first place? And that's the other thing. It's like, if I told you, well, in Hollywood, we use such and such camera to film Liam Neeson, is Jesus not as important as Liam Neeson? Do we need those same cameras? Like, what would you say to that?
Ask that again. You said Liam Neeson. I was like,
I said, if so we're talking about cameras in church. If you're going to go buy a camera for a church and you're going, okay, what quality of camera do we need in the church? And you got integrators going, well, you need the best of the best. Church pushes back. Well, why do we need that camera? That's like so expensive. Like they use that in Hollywood. And the response is, well, is Jesus not more important than Hollywood?
oh yeah. One up and get
Why
the sale.
Why wouldn't you?
I get that example,
That's what's being said.
but I don't think that's being said by my church friends that are running integration companies.
Oh, I don't know who you're talking about, but yeah,
All I'm saying is I agree with you.
that's being said by a lot of people in that space.
Because it's easy sell, because it's the most visual thing. Like, what cameras did they use at the Super Bowl? Because it looked incredible. Hey, TD, hey, worship leader, go look into those cameras because that looks awesome.
Yeah.
If you're an integrator, then that church comes to you as an integrator and say, hey, we want the cameras because the Super Bowl had them, and your question is not why,
Yeah.
then you that's not a good approach for protecting the local church.
Yeah. It just seems it's just really interesting because I see churches questioning these things online. Like, do we really need that? Do we really need this? Do we really need that? And the people who are defending it, the only people that I see consistently defending it are the people who are profiting off of the sale.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But like, how do we not see that and call it out? Like, and
we see it
and call it out.
Yeah, but
that's what I'm saying.
that's the
Is
back
like,
half of it. We
no,
see
this
it.
is insane. We can't keep the amount of. I mean, we've seen this firsthand. It's very personal to me because, okay, at MxU, full disclosure, when we started doing events, well, you know this, events not very profitable in our space. Like you really actually lose a lot of money if you want to do an event the right way. And so the way that you offset the cost of doing an event is you find sponsors, right? You find people to come in, sponsor that event. Full disclosure here, in early days of MxU, even to a couple years ago, we did a bunch of events. The way that those events are paid for is by sponsorships. The way that we don't lose a massive amount of money on those events is by sponsorships. We're talking manufacturers, SSL, Yamaha, DMB, Waves, integration firms, Summit, like there's no hiding that, right? And all those names I listed, I'm not calling them out saying they're bad companies or anything, but I'm just saying like we took a lot of money to be able to put on these events. And it was the only way we could do those events. But in that experience, it became so clear to me. And just to be honest to you listeners, like this is a lot of reason why we don't do events anymore is because it got so gross. It just got incredibly gross. The amount of emails we'd get, oh, we need to be at your next event. What kind of check do we need to write to be at that event? Okay, does this company do good work? Do they have good products? Okay, let's have them at the event. Event's over. We didn't get ROI. We didn't get enough sales. We didn't sell enough consoles. Blah, blah. It's like, well, you said you wanted to come and build relationship with the house of worship community, but now you're saying you didn't get enough ROI from this? Mm-hmm. It's gross. But then you also want to tell me that you're a part of your local Baptist church back home and you love the local church and that's why you took this house of worship job at this big corporation. It's like, it just gets so disgusting to me. And so we've seen this firsthand. I mean, this is literally why we do not have any formal relationships with any manufacturer or integration firm anymore. Not because they're all bad. Still great friends with folks at Summit. Still great friends with folks at Amplio. Love Waves. Love Digico. Love DMB. These are some great companies with great people in them. But it's few and far between, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
It just gets so gross. And the church is looking to these people. They're going on YouTube. They're going, oh, I got to figure out if I need such and such camera. Oh, YouTube video. Oh, integration firm interviews on a podcast, large, very influential church pastor, and does whatever they needed to do to get that pastor to say why he believes it's important for churches to invest a bunch of money in gear. There's something off there. Yeah. Like, and I think when we start having conversations now around integration tables, manufacturers, integrators talking about what churches should be spending money on and how much they should be spending money, I'm like, you have no place. Like, sorry, like you're selling the gear. You just can't talk about this anymore because we all know money does crazy things to people. So if you want to integrate, do a really good job integrating. If the church says they want this PA and they want that, okay, sell it to them. But this whole like, oh no, let us come alongside you and tell you that you need this thing and you need this thing and you need these things. We're the professional and you're the amateur. We're getting into really dangerous territory, which is why actually I could be contradicting myself, but maybe some of these consultancies that coming in could help with that.
Yeah.
Like consultants coming in, helping like, hey, I'm going to take a percentage of this to make sure you don't get screwed over, church.
Yeah.
But so maybe there's a solution there.
But it's got to be the heart.
Yeah.
And the one thing that we cannot judge is the heart, but I think we got to start at the heart. And if that consultant agency comes in the middle just to take 4% because they need a paycheck,
yeah,
are you actually going to protect the church, or are you just trying to live the lavish life you feel like you should be living? Or same for the integrator, same for me at Event Ready.
Yeah.
I mean, we take a big show in an arena and it's like we just paid for someone's salary for the entire year based off one, right? That'd be nice, but we could. So we have to decide, okay, if we truly believe in the church, we truly believe in these faith-based organizations that are doing good for the kingdom, and they come to us and hand us a $500,000 check, but we're like, yeah, but if we could get 540, we could be at 27%. And if I'm at 27%, then I know that I can pay off this debt. I know that I can buy a new car, and I know I can. It's the heart. It's the heart. Or, you know what? I'm going to trust God as a business owner that I can take a lower margin. God's still going to show up and still provide. And this faith-based organization or this church is going to be able to do really good things because we're not going to financially stress them out by just upselling because we have their ear, because we were the cool company that was pointed to from an influencer. It's the heart, man. And we control our own heart. We can control our own decisions. And I think we have to start asking the question why from a purchasing standpoint and from a selling standpoint. If you're serving in the faith-based, if you don't serve in the faith-based space, who cares? It's all about money anyways. Like, if I'm a corporate producer, you hire me because I'm really good at what I do, and you tell me your show's $1 million and you don't even care if your show's $1 million because it's just corporate money anyways. It's not sacrificial giving. Who cares? We're all in this to make money. You're in your corporation to make money. I'm in this business to make money. There is no secret. We're in the business of making money. But when you're talking about the local church, which was never started to make money, we should be asking ourselves why. Why do we do what we do inside the faith-based community?
Yeah.
If we don't ask ourselves why, we're more than likely in it to make money.
Well, it's just disconnected. There's a disconnect because some people listening to this might be like, why are you guys so bothered by how much money the church spends? I mean, again, like there's some well-known pastors out there going, well, for the size of our church, we can justify spending this much money on tech. I'm like, I think that's really dumb logic. Like, size of your church, man, look at how much you can bless the world even more. At
the same time, if a pastor looks at his team and goes, hey, we have 6 locations and I want to do here's the vision. The vision is that we are all aligned. We're all in the same message. I want whoever's teaching at our broadcast to be at all of our campuses. I want it to look, feel the same, be the same. I want it to be this brand at all of our locations, and gives a very specific vision and a why. And then this team comes back to him and says, hey, we can do all of those things, Pastor, but this is what's going to cost to pull off the vision of where you're trying to take us as a church. I don't know if I disagree with that.
Well, but it's all, I'm making the argument over, because every size is proportional, right? So people are like, oh, well, we want to do the type of ministry that we compare, right? So it's like, we want to do type of ministry.
But
like
the heart compares and says, I want because they have.
Yeah.
That's the heart I'm talking about.
So it's like, people would be maybe surprised to know proportionately Elevation spends very little on tech.
Yeah.
Proportionally. For how much money they have.
Right.
From online giving and everything. If they took some people's logic of like, well, we have this much money, and so per person, per capita, our spend is actually pretty reasonable, they literally would have L-acoustic PAs in the bathroom.
Yeah.
If they could justify that, if they took that logic.
Yeah.
And same thing with churches like, you literally some of the largest, most influential churches, Saddleback, Seacoast, like these churches actually don't spend very much money on tech proportionally the money that they receive in tithes and offerings and the number of people that are part of their church. You know who it is? It's now I'm just kind of getting soapboxy, but it's like 2,000 person church, 3,000 person church. It's like, oh, we just got some serious growth and let's invest now. We got some money to play with. And they just go spend asinine amounts of money on tech that they don't know how to use. And they don't have any teams. And we see this every day. Churches call and they're like, we don't have nobody, our people, there's turnover. Nobody knows how to work this gear. We got friends at Church Gear who say they're going into back closets and seeing hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of gear.
Yeah.
Just sitting.
Yeah.
Like, this is disgusting. And people are like, Spencer, why are you so hot and bothered about this? It's like, because our fattened consumeristic culture in American church, like, this is unique to us. The church in Africa is booming. We have a ton of churches in Africa that it's just like insane what they're doing over there. And they have a fraction of the amount of money being spent on tech. Mm-hmm. It's going towards local communities. It's going towards bettering their community. It's going bettering the global community. And we look at what the Bible says we are called to do as a church. And now this conversation starts to feel really silly. It's like, wait, so why are we arguing about how much money we should be spending on LED walls and PAs in churches? It feels dumb, does it not? Like, I understand that we need tools to be able to...
But is there actually an argument? I don't know.
Is there an argument for...
Why are we buying InfoLED instead of Row when Row's better? Obviously, I'm just saying. That's not my stance. I don't know.
Do you hear that? Do you hear that, InfoLED? Oh my goodness.
I have heard that several times with vendors who try to earn our business. Well, we got Row. We don't use InfoLED, or we use InfoLED because it's cheaper for the... is it an argument for churches? Are they actually arguing about it, or are we just assuming that churches are arguing about these things? Well, I don't know.
Churches, I don't think, are arguing about this with each other. That's not what I'm witnessing. It's churches are struggling. Goes back to the topic of this whole podcast. Who's telling you to buy this gear? Churches are struggling because they feel this pressure of, like, senior pastors don't know. Like, most senior pastors don't know about this stuff. So they're just going like, well, I'm being told this by my worship pastor, and then I'm being told this by the integrator. And the worship pastor kind of looks up to the integrator like an older brother. They took him out to a nice steak dinner. It seemed like they've got some cool people that they're able to introduce them to. And, well, yeah, I mean, I've got to do what they say. Like, they've worked with all these other churches. Senior pastor is like, well, I'm not going to be the one that comes in and puts the kibosh on this. We see that over and over and over again.
And another thought with that is, if you're an integrator and you're trying to sell something that's not better for the church, but it's been sitting on your shelves for a while, and you know it's not better for the church, and you know it's not what they should have, and you sell it to them, you need to repent.
Well, it's funny because I'm just thinking
that's happened.
That's what I'm saying.
I came into a church, and I looked at this line of front wash fixtures. Again, I don't know much, and I knew right away those front wash fixtures are not effective.
Yeah,
and I asked the production manager, why do I see what I see everywhere else? Your D&B rig and your consoles, I feel like y'all do care about quality. Why do y'all have those front wash fixtures? And he said, because I learned later after we bought them that the integrator just needed to sell them to get them off their shelves.
Yeah.
And we had to replace the front wash fixtures. That person, I can feel my blood pressure.
Blood pressure rising.
I can feel it.
Here's the thing, man.
So there is bad out there.
We see that all the time.
Not all are bad.
No.
I want to be clear.
Yeah, and look, like, again, I know I can come across black and white and soapboxy, but it's just because it's hard too, because we see this every day, and I'm seeing a lot of people follow the money.
Oh yeah,
seeing a lot of people follow the money. People who have no business doing integration now do integration, and then there's people who've dedicated 20 years to doing integration, and they all of a sudden are getting beat out because Joe Schmo has more YouTube exposure and churches follow them. And so now they're going and learning how KVMs work on the job. Like, what are we doing? Like,
I got asked recently directly from the person who makes decisions from the church, does Event Ready do integration? And I was like, no, we don't do integration. I don't have issues with integration. I have no passion for that. And I'm a live events guy. I have tons of passion for live events. And he's like, oh, okay, I was just asking. And we were going to reach out to see if y'all would be interested in helping us with this project. That project ended up being over $2 million project. And I was like, God, I just have to trust that God.
You're like, man, I really wish I did integration.
I just have to trust that God will bring me clients to be able to provide for my family. If that's what if I actually believe my passions are this, and I feel like I need to be doing this to help further grow the kingdom, then I'm going to trust. I may not live this lavish life, but I'm going to trust that God's going to provide. Again, it goes back to the heart. I could have very well said yes, and I could have started lining up manufacturer relationships and getting direct access to manufacturers. I can probably do that pretty easily with the people I know, but I did not do that because in my heart, I would have been convicted that I only followed that trail because of the price tag and the margins I would have made off of it.
Yeah.
It's got to be about the heart.
Yeah.
And if you're selling stuff, check your heart. It's got to be about your heart. And in me too. Like I don't sell stuff, but I sell service. Check your heart. Yeah. Why do you do it?
Yeah. I appreciate your perspective on that. I'm not even really talking to integrators and manufacturers here because I appreciate your challenge to them if they are listening to this. My encouragement to churches.
Oh, they're going to be listening. This will be sent to a lot of them.
Oh, sure.
It will be sent. Let's just call it for what it is.
Fewer friends on my part.
We know a lot of people will get this podcast.
Yeah. And look, I'll say it again. There are some amazing integrators and some amazing manufacturers. And I've been really blessed to know a lot of them. But there's also an equal number of not great ones.
That's right.
And look, you need audio consoles to do ministry. So like,
and you can't go buy them directly from the people
You can't go buy them from,
you have to go through somebody.
Yeah. I really do have respect. I mean, there's people like Jeff Vandergees and Amplio and Nick and Tyson at Summit, like friends that I'm like, these people are great people. I trust their heart. They run integration companies, like incredible people. I mean, Nolan, who runs TPS here locally in Knoxville, I think Nolan's great. Like there's so many people that I could say are amazing and they have great intentions. But for every good story, I feel like I hear two bad ones these days on this front. And it's just really sad to me that the church is getting taken advantage of in this area. And all that to say, the amount of churches that end up going through the project, they get all the gear, and on the other side, it's just as bad, if not worse than it was before from a quality perspective. And then people come and they're like, MxU, we need your help. We need your help. Please, can you help us make this better? Our integrator won't pick up the phone for us.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, our Midas console died. We need to use a different console and our integrator can't make it right and blah, 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 blah. We hear those stories all the freaking time. Mm-hmm. And it's just, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of church. And then churches are trying to skimp on investing in their people. Oh, we can't afford training nights. We can't afford this. We can't afford that because we just bought this new $80,000, $100,000, $150,000 PA. It's like, what are you guys doing? Like, nobody knows how to mix on this thing. It sounds horrible either way. Like, maybe you should have considered this.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to dog on you, church. I'm not trying to say you're stupid. I'm sorry if it comes across that way in the tone. What I'm trying to do is light a fire and go, pay attention to who you're listening to. Mm-hmm. Pay attention to the integrators that you are listening to. Pay attention to the manufacturers that you are listening to. Their voices are louder than ever with social media. That's the thing about social media. Every company can have a pretty decent marketing department now. Mm-hmm. Before social media, in this kind of cesspool of where everybody lived, like sometimes you would never hear from these people. But now you got so-and-so faith, so-and-so worship, so-and-so ministry, so-and-so church. All these brands are attaching these spiritual words onto these Instagram accounts. And they're like, now listen to us. We just started a podcast. We're going to tell you about how this and this and that. Man, I could just go on all day about this. The church spent billions of dollars of gear last year. And the church still notoriously one of the worst sounding live spaces in the country. And highest turnover of many, like most organizations out there, some of the highest turnover with our people.
staff and guests
volunteer.
or customers
Volunteer.
and volunteers.
It's like,
Yeah.
so we got to wake up at some point. This has been happening for years and years and years and years. Let's put the gear off the shelf for a second. Our idolized shelf of what's going to be the next thing that's going to help us get there. Get over yourself. Invest in your people.
Mhm.
Doesn't mean you have to use a platform like MxU. Means maybe hosting a team night. Means using your funds to buy a volunteer dinner, cup of coffee, and rant over. But it's getting old. It's getting old.
I cannot wait. Because we are going to
No, look.
I don't care. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, hey, if I offended somebody for saying house of worship department in your company, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, but the ones that,
yeah, the ones who are going to be mad are the ones who already got mad at me 3 years ago or 2 years ago because we stopped doing events. Like, well, how are we going to get new customers if MxU doesn't do any more events? Sorry.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, literally, those are conversations that are happening. I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus, just being honest. Like, the amount of relationships at MxU we lost on the manufacturer and integration level because we stopped doing events was insane.
Yeah.
Like, you guys, how dare you? It's like, what?
Yeah, we're not your marketing department.
We're not your marketing department, but we were,
Yeah.
apparently. And all that talk of, oh, we really care about the house of worship. We want to see the house of worship advance. No, you didn't. You literally just needed to tell your bean counter that you got enough leads at our event.
Mm-hmm.
So
all goes back to the heart.
Let people, anytime we have real conversations like this, and look, I'm not perfect. There's some things I've said here that are probably a little too, I should think through and think through more. I think you've said some things that really got me thinking. So we're all work in progress, but I'd love to see some of these things change.
Yeah. And with that, we are actually selling gear now in my company. So if you're...
Oh, sweet. You guys got dealer status?
Yeah, we got dealer status.
That's sick.
Dealer status.
That's sick. That's super cool, man. Good
dealer
for you guys.
Status.
No, hey, we'll wrap this up. If you've made it this long listening, if you're a church, just know we're for you. Not trying to kick anybody in the shins here, but we're passionate about this, and hopefully you are too, because we think that the funds that the kingdom, we as churches are responsible to steward, is very important to steward and can go to making a lot of good here on earth, making a lot of good happen and helping a lot of families, helping a lot of people who are far and near to Jesus. So that's why this conversation matters. And that's the part that we can play in the worship and tech community in the church. So thank you for listening. If you're a manufacturer integrator and you're offended, reach out. Let's have lunch. We'd love to build a relationship with you, or you can just stay on the keyboard. All good. So I mentioned the team night guide. Go download it for free if you want. It's going to help you if you feel motivated to like start investing in your people today. Go do that. And we've got a bunch of other free resources as well. We'll put the links in the description below, but we even have we have a free resource on how to budget for gear and how to,
what gear to choose.
Yeah, what gear to choose. All those resources are available on getmxu.com. Put the link below. Appreciate you listening. We'll see you next time.